Visit us on the web at www.coolwavepictures.com/radio.
Wavelength Radio presents The Mackenzie Show with Brian Mackenzie.
He's calm, he's cool, and he's collected. Here's Brian Mackenzie.
Hooyakalea moo moo! And welcome to the Mackenzie Show. I am William Wallace, and I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. We have come to fight as free men, and free men you are. Wait a minute. I'm not a heroic Scottish medieval warrior. I'm Brian Mackenzie, the host of The Mackenzie Show. And welcome to the show. And this is August 18th, 2010. We are ready to go here at coolwavepictures.com. Click on the wave link, and you can call us toll-free at 877-835-1937. It always seems to be tough to jump right out of the box, but we'll get it together. You can also see us streaming live through Ustream Video at thecoolwavepictures.com. Okay. Whoa. How about last night? Nice little storm, little breeze, little dumpage of rain. I was driving down here from Scottsdale to Tempe. I noticed that the Tempe Town Lake has been filled. Not! The bladders have not been put in yet. And, of course, we all know that you need bladders to hold the water. But we have any storm stories out there, feel free to give us a call, 877-835-1937. I see that there was a lot of power outages around the area, a lot of downed trees and street lights, which always concerns me, which I try and make sure I'm not on the road during those kind of storms, especially when those microbursts hit. But looking at from the azcentral.com, I saw that the rainfall reached as much as about 2 inches in some areas, and winds top speed was about 60 miles an hour. It looked like in Mesa, where they suffered a lot of flooding roads and knocked over power lines. It also seems that a microburst struck the area around McKillop Road, ripping part of a roof off a home and knocking out power to homes. Nearly 400 SRP customers had no power early Wednesday morning today. And according to SRP, at least 11,000 customers were without electricity at one point on Tuesday evening. So if you have any interesting storm stories, give us a call. 877-835-1937. I'm happy to say in Scottsdale, where I lived, I think during the storm I missed about 3 pitches of last night's Yankee game. So my night went by just dandy, and I was able to enjoy the storm without any inconveniences. And I hope everybody got through it okay, and no one suffered any major damage or any injuries. Okay, the first topic I'd like to talk about here is a little event that happened on Saturday. We had a couple of things to do, me and the wife, and one of them was to go, we found out Saturday morning that we had to go to the airport, that would be Sky Harbor Airport, terminal number 4, to pick up a friend of a friend. But the information that we had was lacking. We just had the flight number, the name, and the time that she was coming in. And we couldn't get in touch with anybody. Couldn't get her cell phone number. We couldn't, get any information on what she looked like. So we were just kind of going blind. So we made a sign. We put the name, where she was coming from. And who we are. So we're standing there. We got there about 15 minutes before the flight arrived, and during that time, the people started coming out, and you're really not sure who's who. Everybody's looking at the sign and looking at you like you're like a crazy person or whatever. But we showed that the flight arrived, and people just keep coming out, and then it would dissipate, and they keep coming out and coming out. We got the sign. We're standing right at the exit, and everybody's looking, but nobody's stopping. So about 15 minutes after the flight arrived, I think we started to get a little concerned that maybe we picked the wrong day or something. But so we called somebody, and they confirmed that this person was on that flight. So we stayed there a little longer, and about maybe 25 minutes after the arrival time, I decided to run down to the baggage loading station. The escalators were right there, so my wife stood with the sign. Hope maybe she stopped to get some souvenirs before coming out into the terminal, and so I went down the escalator. I went to the flight number where she was supposed to get her baggage, and all the baggage was down and people were picking it up, and then about 5 or 10 minutes it said all the baggage was done and there really wasn't any baggage left on. So I started to look like the creep at the airport, asking like 21-year-old girls what their name was, and they were nice. I left quite quickly. But I thought I was going to be able to get right back up to where I came down the escalator. But you can't in Terminal 4. If you go down to the baggage area, you have to walk all the way across the terminal to get to the elevators. And that takes a little bit of time. And you get on the elevator, and then you got to walk all the way back to where my wife was. And I come back. My wife is a little bit upset that one of the TSA workers came out to her and started interrogating her on why she was standing there for so long, and asking her what was her purpose, why she was there, what her intent was. And I was like, who did this? And she said, no, let's just leave. But I was kind of pissed off because we've had a little bit of a rough spell with some deaths in the family and stuff. So I was pissed off. And I just kind of looked at the TSA agent that was guarding the terminal they were coming out of, and I knew I couldn't confront them. I just promptly gave them the bird, and we left. So, of course, this pissed off my wife. We were supposed to go to a book signing and have a nice little dinner and stuff like that, but she's upset. So I know that the TSA people are GED graduates. Well, maybe not all of them. You, sir, are a GED graduate, and you don't even have to be a high school graduate. You just have to be smart enough to put your clothes on without your fly down and your socks match. So stop harassing people at the airport who are just hanging out in the waiting area. And now my wife, I don't know. I don't think she had any bombs on her. I don't think she had, any look of anything threatening. You just saw her and you felt it was your right to come up to her and just start using your badge and feeling like the man. So you, sir, are a class A moron, and I hope your shoelace gets caught in the escalator on the way down. And just to show what kind of people we're dealing with here, here's a quick little story. Airport security screener arrested for retaliating over penis-sized jokes. Apparently, he was chosen to try out the new screening program, which is going to be great for the women with these perverted people out there getting TSA badges. But he went through the screening process, and it showed his package, if you want to call it a package. And they started making fun of him. And the guy started beating down his own agents right there in the terminal. So, is this what we're going to deal with our airport security? Can we please get some competent people there that are people-friendly and understand the frustration of travel? We understand you. Understand us. This is the Mackenzie Show. Upcoming next, we're going to have some serious news, and some wacky news. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Wavelength Radio from Cool Wave Pictures.
Visit us on the web at www.coolwavepictures.com/radio.
Wavelength Radio presents The Mackenzie Show with Brian Mackenzie.
He's calm, he's cool, and he's collected. Here's Brian Mackenzie.
This land is not for sale! What the hell was that last song? Anyway, welcome back to the Mackenzie Show. I'm Brian Mackenzie, and this is Wavelength Radio at coolwavepictures.com. You can find us there. You can watch us live streaming at Ustream on the coolwavepictures.com. And please give us a call at 1-877-835-1937. We've covered the storm last night, and if you have any stories you'd like to share with us, please give us a call at that number. Or if you've had any problems with the doofuses down at the TSA, and maybe I'm being a little hard on them. It's just that one guy. They all can't be that bad, can they? Okay, just to let you know, upcoming. We have at 7 p.m. Happy Hour with Cameron Cooper. 8 p.m. The Patrick Adam Show. And 9 p.m. The Round Table, which is the host and our producer Charles Peter, who throws us goofy headlines and say who? Throws us wacky headlines and picks our mind on what we think. It's quite funny. And on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. we have The Dave Show. And at 8 p.m., it's The Life and Times with Chris and Cody. And be ready for those two. Okay. Well, this segment of the show, and again, I do apologize for that last song. I'm more of a rock and roller, not a picker, even though I do like this song. I think I liked it the first time I saw Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah. Okay. In the news, more serious, I don't really like to get into too heavy of politics or our politicians. But Nancy Pelosi, that gavel-wielding pinhead, wide-eyed Speaker of the House, wants to have a mosque opponent's funding probed. She wants to see who is opposing the mosque and have contributions to find out who those people are. That's Americans. But we do have a caller on the line, and let's see what they have to say. Hello, caller. Go ahead. You're on the Mackenzie Show.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, this is Joey from around.
No shit.
I call you guys, and I was talking to that Nothing show, the Blu-ray show thing that Charles Peterson does.
Yeah, he's on there Tuesday nights.
And but anyway, my wife, she loves all your shows, and we just wanted to say, hey, thanks, you're doing a great job. And my wife is still trying to get you guys to play Frank Sinatra, and it hasn't happened yet, but we still got faith in you guys.
How's your wife's bunions? Are you massaging those babies? Hello, Joey.
She's always in the kitchen. She said you couldn't have eaten the one. But I tell you what, she's in the kitchen. She's rolling around on the floor, laughing her ass off. She loves you guys.
How big is her ass, Joey? Is it nice and firm, or is it one of those things where you got to get like a crowbar to pry her open?
Yeah.
Love you, Joey, baby. Love you.
Goodness, I tell you what, she is rolling around. I'm telling you. Well, my wife, she's a good-sized woman. She loves her size, and I love her too. So God bless her. She's loving you guys right now.
Thank you for the nude photos you sent of her. I'm sure she appreciates that. Thank you for calling, Joey. We love you, baby. Oh, that guy. Love that man. Crazy Joey from New York. All right, back to what I was talking about. Because speaking of New York, there's a mosque being built close to the ground zero area. And now our Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, comes out and says she wants to get a mosque opponents funding probe going, which is basically about investigating Americans who have the right to express their opinions. What is up? What is going on here? How come she's not coming out and wants a mosque funding probe set up to find out who is sending money in to build this bazillion-dollar thing? Huh? That seems to make more sense to me than investigating your own citizens. I don't know what's going on down there. And this may require a little bit more research, and if anybody knows this for a fact or has looked into this, give us a call at 877-835-1937. That the mosque is going to be built on the site where a Burlington coat factory was. And the reason why that area and that building was condemned is because it was damaged in the 9/11 attacks. Now, I've heard several different stories. It was from debris or even from a plane engine. You got to be kidding me! Even that alone should it's mind-boggling to me that even the most, as they moderate Muslims would say, you know what, this is a bad idea, and that still may happen. I'm just saying that our government Speaker of the House is going to probe Americans who oppose the mosque being built. However, what I just found out, I have not heard, unless I heard it on the Dennis Miller show from some lady in Montreal. Is that right? I didn't know if it was all right to say the Dennis Miller show. Oh, yeah. A caller from Montreal. Montreal! There was a St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox church that was built in 1832. It was. I was looking at a picture right now, and you can see the Twin Towers right behind it. And it was destroyed when the towers collapsed during the 9/11 attacks. Now, let's see here. Let's see. Nobody was hurt and all that. That's good. But while the mosque projected cleared red tape earlier this month, negotiations between the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and the church stalled last year and will not be revived, according to the government officials. That's what I don't understand. Is it because it's a Catholic church? Apparently, they've been trying to rebuild this church since for the past 9 years, and they've just been running into block after block after block from the Port Authority, and it looks like it's probably not going to get done. But everybody's pushing, for the mosque. So I don't know. That's all. I'm getting an ulcer. But no, actually, I'm doing okay. It's doing all right. And just to let you know that there is good news in the world, that the Craigslist killer killed himself by slicing his wrist with a pen and putting a plastic bag over his head. Thank you. This is the Mackenzie Show. Upcoming next, a little bit more lighthearted news. And if you have any comments or thoughts on our topics that we're covering today, give us a call at 877-835-1937. And if you go to our Wavelength website at coolwavepictures.com, you'll see a donations button there. And you can give what you can. We'd appreciate it. This is the Mackenzie Show.
You're listening to Wavelength Radio from Cool Wave Pictures.
Visit us on the web at www.coolwavepictures.com/radio.
Wavelength Radio presents The Mackenzie Show with Brian Mackenzie.
He's calm, he's cool, and he's collected. Here's Brian Mackenzie.
A little less conversation, a little more action, please.
Don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. Welcome back to the Mackenzie Show. I'm your host, Brian Mackenzie. We're at Wavelength Radio, which you can find on the coolwavepictures.com website. Feel free to give us a call on any of the topics that we've been talking about. The mosque in New York and our Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi's choice to want to probe into American citizens' thoughts. And the storm that we had last night, which seemed to cause some havoc. TSA workers, if any problems there. And if you like, also on coolwavepictures.com, you can see us live through the video through Ustream at coolwavepictures.com. And on the wavelength, you will see a donation button. And we will get better at this if we can do it every day. So a donation of $1 million would be very much appreciated. I believe it would be a tax write-off, too. All right, some great news here. I think last week I covered... now, Mackenzie is an Mackenzie, which is Scottish. I'm very proud to be. Last week I mentioned that the British engineers had developed a a feces-powered car where you can run your car on your friend's diarrhea. What I've read today is that a new whiskey biofuel that can be that can be used to power cars has been developed by scientists in Edinburgh. How about that? So, my boys in Scotland have come up with a way to run a car using whiskey. How cool is that? You know, the only downside of it is that you might have to go into the back seat and crack open a Dewar's bottle just to get home. But at least if you are driving and drinking, if a cop pulls you over, he won't be able to tell whether you smell or the car smells. So, way to go, Scotland, and look forward to reading up on that. This is going to be the, looks like the food portion of our show. For those who are dedicated to the protein diet, which I participate in, 228 million eggs have been recalled following a salmonella outbreak. An Iowa egg producer recalled those eggs. I don't know how they figure out that 228 million eggs, why isn't it 229? So it's a million eggs out there that could make you puke your guts up. So be careful of what kind of eggs you're buying. It looks like it seems that it would hit California and Minnesota. But who knows where they get distributed to? Lucerne, Albertsons. There's some out here. These other ones, I don't know. But we are nationwide and on the World Wide Web, so look out for Sunshine, Hillsdale, Traficana, Farm Fresh, Shoreland, and Kemp. If you're a bagel fan, be careful when you go to Starbucks. A woman was ejected from a Starbucks by police for refusing to properly order her bagel. I'm going to read this. As you can tell, my reading skills are top-notch. Police were called to a Starbucks on the Upper West Side Sunday because a customer refused to order her bagel properly. According to the New York Post, her name, who happens to be a college English professor, was asked to leave by police after refusing to specify that she did not want butter or cheese on her multigrain bagel. She ordered a toasted bagel, and the barista asked her if she wanted butter or cheese on it. This set her off, and she refused to answer. Her reasoning: I refuse to say without butter or cheese. When you go to Burger King, you don't have to list the 6 things you don't want. Linguistically, I said that right. It's stupid, and I'm a stickler for correct English. Now, if I'm the person in back of this woman and this is going on, before she would have got ejected by the police, she would have left with a boot up her ass. Preferably not my boot, but, just give her a kick in the ass. It's like the people when you're waiting in line at the supermarket, okay? And you're ready to go, and everybody uses debit cards, sometimes cash, but there's always the one person who's going to write a check. And you're in line for about 10 minutes, and they're standing there doing nothing, and they wait till they get the total of their grocery bill to start to fill out the check. They have to date it, put the name of the store, the amount, write the amount, sign it, get the driver's license out, get their check balance book out, and start balancing it right there. Get out of my line! Get into the real world, please. Boy. Maybe I'm being too hard on the folks. I don't know. But after a day's work, you want to get in, you want to get your booze, you want to get home, you want to sit in front of the TV, get hammered, go to bed, and go back to work. Here's a little science information for you. Doctors save a 25-year-old by freezing his skull. Apparently, there's a extreme sport called longboarding. I guess he gets dragged behind a car on a longboard, and he was going about 25, 30 miles an hour when I assume he crashed into a tree and pretty much cracked his head. So he was in surgery for 12 hours after he was rushed to the emergency room, and at that time they noticed the swelling on his brain had become uncontrollable. So basically what they did is they chopped off the two sides of his skull so his brain can swell up. And doesn't say here what they did to reduce the brain swell. I don't know about having ice packs. I think he was induced for a 3-week coma. So having ice on your brain is probably not anywhere close to having freeze brain from your local Circle K Slurpee. So basically what they did is they weld his skull and they put it back together. Well, after welding his skull off his head, they put it back together with micro screws and plates, and then they put it in the freezer. I guess if it broken bones in the freezer with screws, I guess it feels better. But anyway, he's up and about, and he's looking good outside of his two sides of the head. He doesn't really have that oval shape going for him anymore. So, but we hope him the best, and stay off those longboards, and wear a helmet, for crying out loud. Well, I can't really say that, because anytime anybody gets hurt, now, skiing, biking, anything, you had that car crash in the desert, where people are getting drunk and standing right by cars in, I think it's Utah, in the Mojave Desert, and one of the cars, trucks, flipped over and smushed 8 people. Which is a tragedy, but it's the people's right to do that. So going from that story to this one, now people are wanting the federal government to get involved to regulate that race. So everything that goes wrong with the people's right to try and fuck themselves up, somebody steps in, makes a lawsuit, and boom, another one of your freedoms is shot to hell. What can I say? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, give me a call at 877-835-1937. And Paris Hilton is thinking about opening some hotels. The 4Ds. Drinking, drugs, dancing, and dicks. This is the Mackenzie Show.
You're listening to Wavelength Radio from Cool Wave Pictures.
visit us on the web at www.coolwavepictures.com/radio.
Wavelength Radio presents The Mackenzie Show with Brian Mackenzie.
He's calm, he's cool, and he's collected. Here's Brian Mackenzie.
It's the silver lining! This is it! Welcome back to The Mackenzie Show. I am your host, Brian Mackenzie. We're at 877-835-1937 at Cool Wave Length Radio, which is on coolwavepictures.com. See us streaming live through Ustream at that website. Or email us if you'd like. Let us know what you think of the show. Give us your feedback. It's at radio@coolwavepictures.com. Or if you're a friend of the show, check us out on Facebook. Or if not, look up Wavelength. Take a peek. Be a friend. We'd love to have you on board. This is a sports section of the Mackenzie Show. And I'm wearing my alma mater, my Temple hat, which was suggested to me by an old friend of mine. I found him on Facebook, and I let him know that the Temple Owls, who have been mired in such embarrassing records for the past, 15 years or so, maybe even longer, are now picked in Sports Illustrated in one of the toughest divisions in college football, the MAC division, to go 9-1 and win their bowl. So let's go Owls. One thing that always did make me laugh when at Temple is that when we went to go play Penn State, the Nittany Lions, with their 80,000 people and their roaring thunder and this screeching Nittany Lion roar that would echo through the Happy Valley area, I remember our fans would be behind us going, hoo, hoo. It just didn't add up. But I think they've added a screeching owl, which I think is a lot better. Owls are badasses, man. They are badasses. And I'm looking forward to a good season from the old Owls. So a couple of news about some old-timers from the baseball league is that Bobby Thompson, the Giants win the pennant! The Giants win the pennant! Has died at the age of 86 in 1951. He won the pennant for the New York Giants, who I believe they were behind the Dodgers in some unsurmountable deficit of games back, but were able to tie them on the last game, which caused the playoff. And the unfortunate Ralph Branca threw that ball to Bobby Thompson, who smacked it over the left field wall, and that place went nuts. It's one of the famous baseball calls in the history of baseball, and if you're a follower, you know what I'm talking about. If not, YouTube that sucker and take a look. It was quite an exciting scene. New science, I guess they're looking at that Lou Gehrig might not have died from Lou Gehrig's disease, which is, people call it a joke that it was like a coincidence that he died of his own disease. But I've known people who have had it and have died from it, and there's nothing funny about it. But what they're saying that it might be related to, because they didn't have the technology they did obviously back then when Gehrig played back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, is that he might have occurred the disease through a series of concussions. We've heard a lot about concussions, especially within the football league, and we've seen some updated documentaries on former players who are in the throes of dementia because of the massive collisions that they encounter day in, day out through practice and during the games. So they're looking into that. It's possible, probably Lou Gehrig suffered many concussions, and obviously there was no treatment for him except for maybe an ice bag and a brewski. So they're looking into that, and there's really no absolutes to this story. It's just something to looking into. So if you are a person who has suffered quite a few concussions, you do want to go and have that checked out. All right. K-Rod. Any Met fans out there? 877-835-1937. Yanks are tied for first. You're not. and your star closing pitcher is now out for the season due to a injured torn thumb ligament, which has kept him out of the season, which he obtained while going up to the City Field where the Mets play, the stadium, to, I believe, their child care center where his girlfriend was, and started screaming at her. The girlfriend's father was there and confronted him, and he then, K-Rod, then proceeded to beat the crap out of the father-in-law and injure his thumb, which he did not tell anybody. So he was given only a 2-game suspension. And then I think he went out to pitch, and he couldn't, and they determined that his injury was caused by the fight. So he's gone. The Mets are looking to rescind his or void his contract, which is going to cost him the rest of the money this year and an $11 million contract for next year. So, smart move, jackass. Anybody watch the Monday night game against the Giants and the Jets? I know we're in Arizona. I will get to some Arizona stuff in a second here, but we are going coast to coast and worldwide. 877-835-1937. Giants Jets Monday Night Football opening up the new Giants Stadium. Eli Manning. I never saw anybody take a hit like that and not just lay on the ground like a corpse. I think he was 1 or 2 inches away from actually being seriously hurt or killed. It came when he collided with his running back, who elbowed him in the chin and knocked his chin strap up over his mouth. At that particular moment, a Jets lineman came in and blindsided him, snapping his neck back and then sending his helmet off into the air. At that same time, going forward with his neck snapping back and then finally coming forward, a Jet player with his helmet came in the opposite direction and smashed him in the face with his face mask. And I'm here as a Giants fan going, what the fuck? But Eli got up. He had blood all over him. He had a big gash. 12 stitches later, 3 inches, my man will be back and ready for the season. And Jet fans, if you like the show, we share the stadium, go to Wavelength, go to the donate button. For every time Rex Ryan on the Hard Knocks show on the HBO says the F word, send me $1. Please. Now, I just got done reading a book. I can't remember the author's name because it was a little bit too. His political agenda jumped into the story too much. It was about Pat Tillman, his life, and his time in Iraq and Afghanistan, which is what I really wanted to read about. And it was such a horrific ending. It's too complicated to tell. But this Friday, they are coming out with the Tillman story, which I know is going to be a little bit, and the military deserves it because they did try and cover it up. They lied to the family, and there was some kind of agenda going on. Okay, so it's coming out Friday. I was going to go see it, and then I find out that it's only going to play in New York and California. And why? Because they say the F word, and I know it's internet and I can say the F word, but I'm not going to. Fuck. They got an R rating for the amount of cursing and stuff like that, so they may not go nationwide with that program, and that's very disappointing to me because I think everybody should be able to see that story because he gave up a lot, not as much. He never gave up a lot as much as any other soldier, just his lifestyle, and it's quite the story, and I hope it does come out nationwide. Real quick, Elvis Presley thoughts by Elvis Presley. Hey, baby, friends are people you can talk to. And without them, you can't talk to anybody. Thanks, Elvis. Coming up is the happy hour with Cameron Cooper, whose happy hour started about 3 hours ago We'll see you next week. This is the Mackenzie Show.
You're listening to Wavelength Radio from Cool Wave Pictures.